Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have an international Bollox court here today at Clydebank. Welcome to the Never Mind the Bollocks Court Clydebank, Scotland, 30th of the 4th, 25. And the sitting judge today is Chief Justice Bollox Sheriff William Wallace, assisted by Lady Bollock, Angela, and usher to the Bollocks, Billy Bollocks, and assisted by our faithful, anonymous Bollocks jury. Today, an international case comes before our Bollocks court. Case number 1, the persecution of Dr Reinier Fuellmich. This is the biggest judicial scandal ever seen in Deutschland and Germany. Dr Reinier Fuellmich is well known and respected internationally for his work as a consumer defence lawyer. He's been persecuted by the Bundesstaat and remains incarcerated. He is a political prisoner. He has won major cases against well-known corporations such as Kuhn & Nagel, Deutsche Bank and Volkswagen. Dr Fuellmich was one of the first individuals to recognise that the Convid measures constituted crimes against humanity. He decided with 3 other lawyers to create the Corona Investigative Committee, which aimed to shed light on the actions of governments, public institutions and the medical community in the context of the pandemic. Thanks to his brilliant investigative work, after consulting 150 scientists and experts in their fields around the world, as well as numerous whistleblowers from the world, for example Pfizer, World Health Organization, Centre for Disease Control, United Nations, he was able to collect an abundance of evidence of what he calls, quote, the biggest crime ever committed against humanity. Fuellmich was ready to take action. However, the German Secret Services, in cooperation with the Göttingen public prosecutor Simon Philip John and Fuellmich's accusers, cobbled a case together with the aim of stopping him. The allegation is that he embezzled €700,000, which is denied, with the German government intent on seizing the Coronavirus Investigative Committee's bank accounts during the fallout of the pandemic, along with the real risk of no longer being able to use these monies raised by private donations to carry out their revolutionary investigative work. Reiner Fullemich and Vivian Fischer took proactive steps to protect those funds. They purchased €1 million worth of gold with a current value of €1.8 million, and each other took out personal loans worth €7,000 to Fuellmich and €100,000 to Vivian Fischer. These loan agreements were documented in legal terms. They were signed and notarised contracts. When the defence documented the erroneousness of the original allegation, which asserted that Fuellmich had no authority to take out a personal loan without the other committee members' consent, the fake Bundes judge had to invent a new accusation in order to justify Fuellmich's continued unlawful imprisonment. The judge thus declared that the loans were fake. The previous prosecutor of Göttingen, a man called Reinier, had been asked by the German Secret Services to open an investigation into Fuellmich, stated that there were no grounds to open a case against this man. The case was archived until June 2022. Inexperienced prosecutor Simon Philip John was transferred in from Hanover to Göttingen with the task of doing the dirty work that previous German prosecutor had previously deemed unjustified. The judge, Carlsten Schindler, and prosecutor Simon Philip John are taking orders from someone else's instructions. Dr Fuellmich has been held in pre-trial detention for 18 months now in the maximum security prison in Rossdorf, even though the maximum pre-trial detention in Germany is 6 months. All this after being lured under false pretences and abducted in Mexico and deported to Germany without an arrest warrant or extradition order, where he was arrested and imprisoned. The circumstances of his illegal arrest and mistreatment in the jail are very, very concerning. From June 2024 to December 24, Fullemich had been in solitary confinement. The authorities alleged that the reason for this was because Fullemich was providing inmates with legal advice. Fullemich was also subjected to various types of abuse, in clear violation of his so-called human rights. Physical and psychological mistreatment, including prolonged solitary confinement, sunlight deprivation, physical activity deprivation, sleep deprivation, being forced to choose between a shower for personal hygiene or exercise for his body, deprived of speaking to his lawyers, allowed only very brief contact with his wife, whom he has not seen since his arrest. He is only allowed 3 visits per month, 3 hours of visits per month, and short telephone calls. He is denied access to medical care and access to vitamins. His treatment sheds a light into the lack of respect for fundamental rights within the German judicial system. Since June 2024 till today, Fullemich is subjected to body searches and brought to and from the court in body shackles and handcuffs, and treated at the same levels of security as a serial killer with armed guards and armoured trucks. He has been denied a fair trial because any motions to the court are denied without any explanation. Judge Schindler ordered that any defence motions and arguments are presented to the court in writing. This with the aim of impeding people observing the following case and being unable to understand and properly document the proceedings. In addition, Fullemich's defence team were subjected to threats. Defence witnesses are not permitted to take a stand. Schindler refuses to allow the person who pocketed the funds to testify in court. This kangaroo court proceeding is now entering its final stages. Defence lawyers have completed their closing statements. Fullemich has begun his closing statement to the court, which, to silence him, he has been interrupted on 12 occasions and admonished. It is feared that the court may give him a time limit for the presentation of his defences. Because he did this, it forced the defence lawyers to shorten their closing statements. This is an erroneous obstruction of justice, which is a criminal offence in Germany, which confirms the intent of the German secret services on Fullemich, which is Fullemich has to be stopped at all costs to stop his work investigating the pandemic and the so-called vaccines. Fullemich is a political prisoner and he's being punished for speaking the truth. Pre-trial detention must never be used to deter, suppress or substitute judicial process. Justice, free speech and respect for so-called human rights must be upheld, especially for those individuals who ask uncomfortable truths and dare to speak up. This Bollox Court orders that all political prisoners are released immediately and that our Foreign Secretary, Cleverly, is removed because he's a dunderhead and replaced by a competent individual that can go and raise these issues with the German Bundesgovernment. That's all.
Well done.